right? So if we look here, let's do it. We're gonna call it student list dot prop types, and then we're going to say in the prop types there is a student name list prop, and here they just put the name. But I kind of like the naming convention of adding the type of list it is. Anyways, with that said, we're gonna do prop types dot array. Let me look at what the array looks like. Yeah, see, array, and I'm gonna save it, and it failed. It says it's not defined. The first stress level is rising again. Now let's see what's going on. Let's see what is this here. And actually, let's just to double check. Let's copy. Let's paste and save. And that doesn't work. That's fine. Copy. Paste. And that doesn't work. Come on, man. Oh, brother. Import. That whole time I probably got it right. And then all I had to do is prop types from prop types. And this just might work. Check that out. And then even here, we can alert. Or actually, we can let's go bookmark. Then we're going to pass in no way this works, but and of course I forget to come. And of course I put a semicolon. I don't know why I put myself through this, but I do. Don't know what the difference was, but it was something. Watch me get. Man, you gotta be kidding me. What exactly am I changing? This is crazy. What did I change? Nothing. Nothing at all. I can't see it. That worked. No, it's not. It was all good just a week ago. I don't even want to. I don't even want to ask the frustration level. You're not even gonna worry about it. It works. Sometimes we might want to update the component manually. This can be achieved using the force update method. We'll come back to this. No, you know what? This is what's scaring me. Need to go back to this. Dot bind. I know what it is, but I just forget about it. The bind method creates a new function that, when called, has its this keyword set to the provided value with a given sequence of arguments preceding any provided. So okay, I get it now. So we have a module object with the property x, which is 42, and then we have a getX method that has a value or evaluates into this dot x. So it's going to grab this x. Okay. Then we have the unbound getX equals module dot getX, which is, we're going to run this. Whenever we call this, we're just running this to this, getting this property, which would be this right here. So, and then now we have a bound one, which is equals unbound dot getX dot bind. We're binding to the module object, and then we console.log bound getX and get 42. Oh, okay. So here, when we run here, we're in the global scope, so it's going to be looking for when it gets this dot x, it's going to go outside of the scope, so you don't get the 42. Okay, bound get x, unbound get x, bind it to that. So essentially, what bind does, it makes you look in a certain space, right, versus where it's currently at. So let's go back and look here. And we're going to bind force update handler to the app component. And then when we force update handler, we're also going to, when we run it, force update button this dot force update handler force update button random number math.random. Okay. Anyways, force update and bind handler. Component lifecycle, which is what I originally started out to do, but I think I needed to understand the whole component thing better. Lifecycle methods. Component will mount is executed before rendering on both the server and the client side. I actually have a chart on this. If I can find it, bear with me. Right here. So this is the component will mount right here. I didn't expect that to happen, but yeah. Is executed before rendering on both the server and the client side. So this happens prior to anything else. These two things. Component did mount is executed after the first render only. Best way to do this is to show it here. Alright, so component will mount is going to be, should be an object? No, it's a method. And all this is going to do is haven't rendered on either the client or the server. See, it's waiting for me to push OK because it hasn't rendered at all. As soon as I push OK, boom. All right, and then component did mount is executed after the first render only on the client side. This is where AJAX requests and DOM or state updates should occur. This is good to know. Definitely good to know. As a matter of fact, all of it really, even on the reactJS website, it's a little funky in the way that it's written. Put the methods here, but let me add a page to page. Add a page. New page below. Make it a subpage, and then lifecycle methods. No, this. Oh, that's because. Well, it's kind of hoping it would keep the formatting, but whatever. Component will mount is executed before rendering on both the server and the client side. Component did mount is executed after the first render only on the client side. So okay. So component did mount here is going to run I don't even know how to read this thing. Show less common life cycles. Oh, mousing quickly. What about to? So it doesn't say anything about client side, so that kind of worries me, but whatever. Component is executed after the first render only on the client side. This is where AJAX requests and DOM or state updates should occur. This method is also used for integration with other JavaScript frameworks and any functions with delayed execution, such as set timeout, set internal. We're using it to update the state so we can trigger other lifecycle methods. So if I'm to understand, this happens before render. This happens when you are trying to prepare data, AJAX requests, timeouts, and intervals. Component will receive props is invoked as soon as the props are updated before another render is called. We triggered it from set new number when we update the state. With delayed execution such as set timeout, set interval. We're using it to update the state so we can trigger the other lifecycle methods. Component will receive props. This must be one of those lists or didn't even talk about it here. Okay, so before the props show up, or the new props, should component update should return true or false. This will determine if the component will be updated or not. This is set to true by default. If you're sure that the component doesn't need to render after state or props are updated, you can return false value. Component will update is called just before rendering. Didn't I do that? Oh, but this is before update. And then component did update is called after rendering. Is called, and then component one was called after the component is unmounted from the DOM. We are unmounting our component in main.js. In the following example, we will set the initial state in the constructor function. The set new number is used to update the state. All the lifecycle methods are inside the component. This dot state data is set to 0. This dot set new number. This dot set new number dot bind this. Excuse me, this. Set new number. This dot set state is data. This dot state dot data plus 1. When we render it, we're going to click on this dot set new number increment. So we're going to go to 1, then it'll be 2, so on and so forth. This dot set new number dot bind this, then set new number, this dot set state. Oh, that's the state. And then set state is the update. This dot state dot data plus 1 return. button on click, this dot set new state, new number, increment button, content, my number, this dot state data, content. This dot set state date, this dot state dot data plus one, content extends react dot component, component will might as well just run it. Well, I was trying to figure. All right. So here we're going to create a new component. I know that much. And here we're going to create a new file, and this is going to be incrementer.js. We're going to run it like that. All right. We're going to call this the incrementer. And we're going to put it in, I'm going to put an HR here. And then oh, it's in there. Only problem is that the console logs are coming through. Oh. So here we have 0, component will mount, component did mount, click, component will receive props, component will update, component did update. Very simple. Incrementer, content, my number equals state data. And then here in content, we're going to render this props my number, and in each one of these, you have the different situations. I wonder if this is what would be considered React hooks. No, because he was telling me that a friend of mine was telling me that this is more for functional approach. But we'll keep going. reactJS is a JavaScript library used for building beyond run according to React official documentation following definition. What? Yeah, I guess that's all a life cycle is. We're freaking out over nothing. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and call it that. That's, man, almost an hour and a half. I need to get going. All right, y'all. Have a good one.